What if I told you that you can read anyone, not through words, but through their eyes, tone, and silence? Every gesture hides a message, every pause tells a story. In this lesson, you'll learn how to observe people deeply, to understand who they are, not just what they say. Observation is more than seeing. It is understanding with attention. Most people pass through life watching everything and noticing nothing. They hear words but miss meanings. They see faces but overlook feelings. True observation begins when you stop reacting and start noticing. Most people confuse looking with seeing. Looking is passive. It's what your eyes do automatically. Seeing is intentional. It's what your mind does when it connects details, emotions, and patterns. When you start observing with purpose, you begin to see what others miss. The truth behind behavior. The core message. To understand others, you must train your mind to detect patterns, not just single actions. One action can lie, but patterns rarely do. For example, a person might smile and say, "I'm fine," yet their shoulders sink, their breath shortens, and their tone softens. Their words say comfort, but their body says exhaustion. If you only listen to the words, you'll miss the truth. Observation allows you to see behind the mask, the story the person doesn't tell. The science behind observation. Your brain receives around 11 million bits of sensory data every second, but your conscious mind can process only about 40 bits. That means almost everything you perceive is filtered out. Observation training is the art of expanding those 40 bits, to become aware of the small things, a twitch, a pause, a sigh, a hesitation. These small details reveal what 1,000 words cannot. Observation is a skill, not a gift. It's not about having special powers. It's about practicing awareness. The more you practice, the sharper your attention becomes. You start to notice rhythms in speech, energy in posture, and consistency in actions. Over time, people become predictable, not because they're simple, but because human behavior always follows patterns. Mindset shift. Be curious, not judgmental. The purpose of observation is not to judge or label people, it's to understand them. A judgment closes your mind. Curiosity opens it. Ask yourself, why does this person speak faster around certain topics? What emotion hides behind that smile? What are they not saying right now? This mindset of curiosity transforms observation from gossip into growth. You stop assuming and start learning. Key quote. The best observers are not detectives, they are students of human nature. When you observe, you don't just see others more clearly, you begin to understand yourself. Because the more you see people, the more you recognize your own reflections in them. Observation is like peeling an onion, every layer reveals a deeper truth. To truly understand people, you must learn to see beyond appearances. Every person communicates on 3 levels: the physical, the vocal, and the emotional. Most people only pay attention to words, but 90% of human communication happens beyond them. Let's break down the 3 layers of human observation, and how to train your awareness for each. 1. The physical layer, what you see. The first and most obvious layer is the physical one. It's what your eyes can catch: body language, gestures, clothing, posture, distance, movement, and personal space. The body speaks before the mouth does. Every movement is a message. Crossed arms may show protection or discomfort. Leaning forward shows interest, leaning back may mean disconnection. Touching the neck or face often signals nervousness. The distance someone keeps reveals their level of trust or comfort. But here's a secret most people don't know. Watch the hands, not the eyes. Eyes can lie. People learn to fake smiles and maintain eye contact, but hands betray truth. A person's hands reveal their emotional temperature. Restless hands show anxiety. Hidden hands signal uncertainty or fear. Open palms show honesty and confidence. Ask yourself, what does their body say that their words don't? Because when words and body language disagree, always trust the body. 2. The vocal layer, what you hear. The second layer is vocal, the sound beneath the words. Tone, pitch, speed, rhythm, and pauses carry more emotion than the vocabulary itself. A single phrase can have dozens of meanings depending on how it's said. Take the simple sentence, "I'm okay." Said quickly, they want to move on, maybe hiding something. Said slowly, exhaustion or emotional weight. Said softly, vulnerability. Said loudly, denial or frustration. The music of speech is often more revealing than its lyrics. A shaky tone may mean fear, a flat tone may mean sadness, a rising tone might show uncertainty. Listen not just to people, listen through them. Professional observers, negotiators, and even therapists rely on tone more than text. They know emotion leaks through rhythm before reason does. Practice exercise. When talking with someone today, ignore their words for 1 minute and focus only on how they speak, the melody of their voice. Then notice how your perception of them changes. 3. The emotional layer. What you feel. The deepest level of observation is not visual or auditory, it's emotional. It's what you feel when you're around someone. Human beings constantly exchange invisible emotional signals. Even if a person says nothing, their energy, calm, anxious, heavy, or warm, influences you. Observation here means paying attention to your own body and emotions as feedback. Ask yourself, do I feel relaxed or tense when I'm near this person? Do I feel safe or cautious? Do I feel inspired or drained? Your nervous system picks up emotional information faster than your mind can process it. This is why you just know when someone feels fake or sincere. Your intuition is a silent observer. However, this layer requires stillness. You can't sense emotions when your mind is loud. True observation needs silence, patience, and openness. When you combine all 3 layers, physical, vocal, and emotional, people become transparent. You begin to see the full human picture. Practice exercise, the 1-day awareness challenge. For 1 day, train yourself to observe without judging or analyzing. Spend 1 hour focusing only on body language, the physical. Spend 1 hour focusing only on tone and voice, the vocal. Spend 1 hour focusing only on your feelings around others, the emotional. Don't try to interpret, just notice. Observation begins with awareness, not interpretation. The more you practice this, the sharper your intuition becomes. You'll start catching details others miss, the nervous laugh before a lie, the sudden silence before anger, the microshift in posture that reveals comfort or distance. Final thought. Observation is not about controlling people, it's about understanding them. When you see deeply, you connect genuinely. And when you learn to observe others with attention, you also learn to observe yourself. Because awareness of others begins with awareness of your own patterns. Silence is not empty, it's full of information. In a noisy world, the greatest observers are those who listen with their eyes. Most people rush to speak, to reply, to prove they know. But the real learners, the ones who understand human behavior, know the secret. When you talk, you repeat what you know. When you watch, you learn what you don't. Observation thrives in silence. Silence gives you the space to notice what others miss. The small gestures, the quiet sighs, the micro-reactions that reveal more truth than words ever could. Let's explore how to practice the art of silent watching, and how this simple skill can transform the way you see people and the world around you. 1. The coffee shop exercise, learning without speaking. Find a cafe, park, or any public space where people move naturally. Sit quietly for 10 minutes. Don't check your phone. Don't listen to music. Just watch. Notice how people move, how they hold their phones, how they walk, how they talk to others. Every gesture tells a story. The person scrolling rapidly through their phone may be anxious or impatient. The one who sits still, looking out the window, might be lost in thought or emotionally tired. The waiter who keeps smiling despite chaos is displaying emotional resilience. Now, ask yourself, what can I learn about their confidence, energy, or emotions, just by watching? Don't guess their story, focus on the clues. Observation is about collecting data, not conclusions. If you repeat this exercise regularly, your awareness will expand. You'll start noticing rhythm, how people enter a space, how they occupy it, how their energy interacts with others. This is emotional pattern recognition, the foundation of true social intelligence. 2. The pause technique, listening between the words. Most people listen to reply. Observers listen to understand. Here's a simple but powerful rule: pause before you respond. In any conversation, wait 2 seconds before you answer. That tiny silence gives your brain time to see what your eyes and ears missed. During that pause, observe. The person's breathing, did it change? Their tone, did it drop, rise, or shake? Their eyes, did they blink faster, look away, or soften? Their shoulders, did they relax or tighten? Those 2 seconds will reveal emotional information hidden under their words. Sometimes, silence makes people say what they truly mean. Example: a friend says, "I'm fine." You stay silent. After a moment, they sigh and add, "Actually, I'm not." That's the magic of the pause. It invites truth to surface. In a world that fears silence, your calm attention becomes power. 3. Observe without judging, the mind of a scientist. One of the biggest mistakes in observation is judgment. When you label someone as rude, lazy, or kind, you stop seeing reality and start seeing your opinion. Observation is not about deciding who's right or wrong, it's about describing accurately what you see. Use neutral language. Instead of saying, "He's arrogant," say, "He spoke loudly and interrupted others." She's shy, say, "She avoided eye contact and spoke softly." Neutral description builds clarity and empathy. It helps you understand without emotional distortion. Great observers think like scientists. They collect data first, interpret later. They ask questions like, "What might this behavior mean? Is there a pattern or just a one-time reaction? What emotion could be driving this?" Judgment closes your mind. Curiosity opens it. When you stop judging, people stop feeling like puzzles to solve. They become stories to understand. For the practice of active stillness. Silence is not passive, it's an active form of awareness. You're not doing nothing, you're doing everything that matters. You're letting your senses collect the data your busy mind usually ignores. Start small. Practice sitting quietly for 5 minutes a day, just watching life move. In conversations, speak less and listen more. Notice the color of someone's tone, the rhythm of their breathing, the tempo of their gestures. Gradually, you'll develop a second sight, an ability to read unspoken energy. You'll walk into a room and instantly sense tension, calm, or joy, without anyone saying a word. Final message. Observation isn't passive, it's active listening with your eyes, your ears, and your intuition. When you master the art of silent watching, you begin to see people as they are, not as they appear. You realize that silence is not empty, it's full of truth. And in that quiet space, you don't just understand others better, you begin to understand yourself. Human behavior isn't random, it runs on loops. Every person you meet is following invisible patterns written by their emotions, beliefs, and past experiences. If you learn to read those patterns, you can understand people more deeply than they understand themselves. Most of the time, people don't even realize what they're showing you. Their habits, tone, and word choices are constant signals, small clues that reveal who they really are beneath the mask. Observation becomes powerful when you stop focusing on isolated actions and start noticing recurring behavior. Let's explore the 3 core patterns that reveal the truth about people, and how to spot them in real life. 1. Micro, consistency. Small actions tell big stories. The first pattern is found in the small, repeated actions that people do unconsciously, the gestures that slip past awareness. This is called micro, consistency, the little habits that show the real state of someone's mind. A person who constantly bites their nails might be dealing with anxiety or overthinking. Someone who checks their phone every 30 seconds could be uncomfortable with silence or addicted to distraction. A person who always interrupts others may crave control or fear being ignored. You'll see these patterns everywhere, in workplaces, relationships, and even online interactions. They're not random, they're signals. These micro-habits are the fingerprints of emotion. They reveal what's happening beneath the surface: insecurity, boredom, confidence, or curiosity. To train this skill, practice zooming in on small details. Watch how people walk, how they hold their shoulders, how they react when someone disagrees with them. If a behavior repeats 3 or more times in different situations, it's not an accident, it's a pattern. 2. Energy shifts, the invisible language of emotion. The second pattern is about change. Human energy, tone, posture, focus, is always moving. A sudden shift often reveals more truth than hours of conversation. You might notice someone's tone becomes sharper when a topic appears. Their eyes move away when a name is mentioned. Their laughter fades instantly after a question. That's an energy shift, a signal that something emotional has been triggered. It could mean discomfort, fear, interest, guilt, or even attraction. To master observation, train your awareness for these transitions. Don't just listen to what people say, listen to how their energy moves. Here's a simple exercise. Next time you talk to someone, mentally note their neutral state, their baseline. Then, when you see a sudden change in voice, body, or rhythm, ask yourself quietly, what just changed, and why? The key isn't to guess immediately, but to notice. Over time, these small shifts will paint a clear emotional map. You'll realize that people are constantly revealing what excites them, what scares them, and what they care about, not through words, but through changes in energy. 3. Language patterns. Words reveal mindsets. Words are mirrors of thought. Every phrase a person repeats tells you what world they live in internally. Listen carefully, not just to the vocabulary, but to the mindset behind the words. Compare these examples. I have to versus I choose to. It's not my fault versus I'll handle it. I hope it works versus I'll make it work. Each phrase reveals a belief system, one of power or one of helplessness. Someone who constantly says, I don't have time, is often expressing hidden priorities, not truth. Someone who always says, I'll try, may be leaving themselves an emotional escape. And those who say, I deserve better, often live with silent frustration. Language is the bridge between thought and action. If you listen closely enough, you can hear the architecture of someone's mindset. How to train this skill? Listen for repeated phrases in conversations. Write down 3 common expressions you hear from one person. Ask yourself, what belief could this phrase reveal? For example, a coworker often jokes before serious conversations. At first, it seems like humor. But if you notice it happens every time, it's not just personality, it's protection. They use humor to shield vulnerability. Once you see that, you stop reacting and start understanding. Final message: from observation to insight. The magic of observation isn't in noticing one detail, it's in recognizing patterns that repeat over time. A single behavior might mean nothing, but consistency reveals character. Every human being leaves behavioral fingerprints. When you start observing with patience and empathy, you'll see that people are always telling you who they are, not through their words, but through their habits, tone, and energy. To truly understand someone, don't look harder, look longer. Patterns speak louder than moments. Observation isn't a talent, it's a trainable muscle. Some people believe that being observant means being born intuitive, but the truth is, awareness grows through consistent daily practice. Just like athletes train their bodies and musicians train their ears, you can train your eyes, ears, and mind to notice what others miss. Real observation is about attention, not effort. You don't need to spend hours analyzing people, you just need 5 minutes a day to sharpen your awareness. Over time, those 5 minutes can transform the way you understand human behavior. The daily 5-minute observation routine. This short practice will rewire your brain to see and feel more deeply. You can do it anywhere, in a cafe, at work, while watching a movie, or even scrolling through social media. Minute 1. Look. Choose one person to observe. It could be a stranger on the street, a character in a video, or someone you already know. Don't stare, just watch with curiosity. Notice their gestures, posture, and facial micro-movements. How do they sit? How do they hold their phone? Are they relaxed or tense? The goal isn't to judge, it's to see without bias. Minute 2. Listen. If they're speaking, pay attention to tone, pace, and silence. Tone reveals emotion, pace reveals confidence, and silence reveals thought. Even one pause or breath can carry meaning. If you're observing a video, mute the sound for a moment. Notice how much communication still happens without words. That's when you realize, people speak through energy more than sentences. Minute 3. Feel. Observation isn't just external, it's also internal. Ask yourself, how do I feel around this person? Calm, drained, energized, uneasy? Your emotional response is data. It reflects what their presence communicates subconsciously. Human beings are emotional mirrors. What you feel around others often tells you what they're expressing silently. Minute 4. Reflect. After watching and listening, take a quiet moment to reflect. What patterns did you notice? What changed when they spoke or listened? Did their voice lower when certain topics came up? Did their body move closer or farther away? Reflection is where observation turns into understanding. Minute 5. Write one line in your observation journal. End your exercise by writing one simple line. For example, her smile faded when she mentioned her job. He avoided eye contact when he felt uncertain. The speaker's tone dropped when he talked about his past. These small notes are powerful. Over time, your observation journal becomes a mirror of human nature, a record of emotional truth you've witnessed. Observation journal prompts. Use these prompts to deepen your awareness daily. What did I notice that others might miss? How did this person's energy shift during the conversation? What did their body say that their words didn't? What emotion did I feel while observing them, and why? By reflecting consistently, you train your mind to connect logic with empathy. You begin to see both facts and feelings, the physical and the emotional, in one frame. Final message. Observation is not about perfection, it's about presence. You don't need special skills, you just need to be there, fully, for 5 minutes a day. As you repeat this habit, something powerful happens. Your brain starts picking up micro-signals automatically. You'll sense people's moods faster, respond more wisely, and build stronger connections. Quote, "Awareness is like a muscle, the more you train it, the clearer you see." In the end, mastering observation isn't just about reading others, it's about seeing the world more truthfully, and understanding yourself more deeply in the process. The ultimate purpose of observation isn't control, it's understanding. When you learn to observe without judgment, you stop reacting out of emotion and begin responding with clarity. You no longer get lost in assumptions or personal biases. Instead, you start to see people as they are, not as you imagine them to be. Observation, when done with awareness and empathy, becomes one of the most powerful life skills. It helps you understand others, navigate conflict, and even master communication in any language. The principles of a true observer. 1. Stay calm. True observation begins with stillness. When your emotions run high, anger, excitement, or fear, your vision blurs. You start seeing through emotion, not reality. A calm observer sees details others overlook, the hesitation in someone's voice, the tension in their shoulders, the quick glance of uncertainty. Next time you're in a conversation, pause. Breathe. Let your attention settle before you interpret. Calmness is clarity. Clarity is power. 2. Stay curious. Replace the judgmental question, "Why are they like that?" with the compassionate one, "What made them like that?" Every behavior has a story behind it. A quiet person might not be rude, they might be shy, cautious, or simply thoughtful. Curiosity opens the door to empathy. To observe well, You must become a lifelong learner of human behavior. Ask questions silently. What emotion is driving this action? What need are they trying to express? Curiosity transforms ordinary observation into insight. 3. Stay kind. Observation without empathy is manipulation. The goal isn't to use what you see to control people, it's to connect with them. When you notice someone's discomfort, offer patience instead of pressure. When you sense insecurity, show understanding instead of superiority. Kindness turns observation into compassion, and compassion builds trust. Life applications of observation. In relationships, learn to see beyond words. Most people don't say what they feel, they show it. Notice the unspoken needs behind behavior. Irritation may hide stress, silence may hide sadness. Observation helps you love smarter, not harder. In leadership, a great leader doesn't just give orders, they read the room. Before making decisions, they sense the team's mood. Observation allows leaders to act at the right moment, with the right tone, for the right reason. In language learning, the same applies to English fluency. Watch how native speakers move, not just how they speak. Notice their rhythm, tone, and pauses. That's how you learn real-world English, the kind spoken with emotion and flow, not from grammar books. Final message. Observation is a mirror. It reflects others and, at the same time, reveals yourself. The better you understand people, the deeper you understand your own emotions, triggers, and reactions. Train your eyes to see detail, your ears to hear emotion, and your heart to feel without judgment. Because once you master the art of observation, you stop walking through life blindly, and start connecting with the truth that was always there, waiting to be seen. Quote, "The more clearly you see others, the more clearly you understand yourself."